Well, I gotta get drunk and I sure do dread it, 'cause I know just what I'm gonna do. I start to spend my money calling everybody honey and wind up singing the blues. I'll spend my whole paycheck on some old wreck, and brother, I could name you a few. But I gotta get drunk and I sure do dread it, 'cause I know just what I'm gonna do. Well, I gotta get drunk, I can't stay sober.
Now, we used to all hang out at Tootsie's, because you go out the back door, like I said, into the back door of the Opry, and there's 30-minute sections and 15-minute sections, so you can do 2 spots or 1 spot, however many songs you were doing, playing rhythm or whatever you were doing on there, and you run back across the alley, and you may not be on for 2 hours or something again, or if you was on at all, because everybody wanted that spot, because hell, it paid $3. And you'd go back over and drink beer, and then during the week, we'd all hang out down there and go upstairs. And she usually kept most of the people away from upstairs, and we just sat around and guitar pool and sang songs. And Billy Walker had introduced me to Willie Nelson, and so when the guitar come around to him and he sang, and I was thinking, oh, damn, and there, here's what I need out there at the office, you know. He come back around, he done some more, and I asked him who wrote them, and he said he did, and who was publishing them, and he said nobody. Nobody seemed to want them or liked them or something, which is par for the course. And after you prove everything here, then you're in good shape. But I asked him, could he get out to the office, and he said yes. And he came out to the office the next day and went over. He sang me some more songs, and I said, what is it you have to have? You know, I said, not what you need, but what you have to have, because this year it's just, you know, I've only been here just a little while, and I'm getting, you know, $50 a week. And he said, well, I would have to have $50 a week because I got my wife and 3 kids. So I said, well, let me go in and talk to Hal. So I went in and talked to Hal, and he said, well, is he that good? And I said, well, he is to me. And, you know, and I said, there wasn't nobody here but me and him. And he said, well, you know, you was going to get that raise for $50. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, but we can't do that and give you that raise. And I said, well, hold on to the raise, you know, give it to Willie, and it'll all come out in the wash anyway, you know. And he did, and I told Willie, and Willie was so happy and wanted me to go with him, follow him back over to where he was staying and tell his wife and the kids he'd got a deal. And I said, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. And then he asked me to have any money. And I had $2, so I gave him $1, and I kept $1, and we put 50 cents worth of gas in each car. He had an old green Buick. And we went back over to where he was staying, and pulled up, and I said, where are you staying? And he said, right there. And I said, right where? And he said, in that trailer. And I said, that green trailer? He said, yeah, that's where they were living. They asked me why, you know, and I said, man, I said, it's weird. I said, because hell, the first place I stayed when I brought my kids back here from California was in that trailer, right there, you know. And, you know, like I said, we found out later that Roger Miller and his kids and wife had stayed in that same trailer. You know, nobody knew it, and it wasn't, I don't know why, you know, it's just one of them things, I guess. When you got through with doing a demo session or a session, they gave you a 7.5, what they call a 7.5, and it was a reel. You went from reel to reel, and there wasn't no going anywhere else. You know, that was it. And So, because it had, I forget how many, just hell, it's been standards on that thing, you know, on that one session there. And Crazy was on it, and it just killed me when we got it done. I think we had about 4.5 or 5 minutes long, way back. And I played it for Owen, and he just knocked him out because I knew Owen, he would knock Owen out because Owen had a big band at that, you know. And so he said he wanted to do it with Patsy to take it out, you know, and play it for Patsy, but tell Patsy he really wanted to do it. But the song was on hold with Billy Walker, because Billy and Willie was friends, and every time Willie wrote a hell of a song, you know, Billy put it on hold. He had Funny How Time Slips Away and Crazy. So I've got to figure out how in the hell am I going to get this song away from him. So I went to Billy and I just told him, I said, I can get Willie a big record, I'm almost certain, on Crazy if you'll release it, and if you do, I will bring you a hit. I promise. He said, okay. Then we went out, and he was too embarrassed to get out of the car and go in and meet Patsy, because it was about 1 o'clock in the morning or something. And but I went on in. I was drunker than he was, so I went on in, and she said, bring him in, you know. And so we went in, and she is all right, you know. She was as nice as you could be, but of course she cussed the hell out of you too, you know. But her and Willie really hit it off, and she didn't really want to cut it, but Owen did the same thing that he did on I Fall to Pieces. He said, we are cutting this, and they cut it. And
I've cried so much lately that I made out a list of things to remember, things to forget, but my mind can't separate joy from regret. I always remember the things to forget, things to remember, the day that we met.
well, I really can't remember ever meeting Willie, you know.